Hello, good morning. Can you hear me?
Absolutely, yes. Thank you.
Nice to meet you. I'm Pasquale Marasco, one of the person in charge to manage to develop the ANFIA Next Mobility Hackathon for the 2022 edition. I hope that you find easy to join our meeting. Just for your information, the meeting will be recorded in order to be shared with other participants or who needs about new information about our events. Today, the webinar is held by the organization of the Hackathon and the European project DYDAS that will be also one of the speakers of the meeting. The first part of this webinar will be related to the hackathon in terms of the possibility to select, describe your idea and apply, submit your idea in for our contest. Then there will be also the possibility to go more in deep about the possibility that DYDAS project will give to the hackathon participants in order to use a specific platform for mass data and the potential business model that will be built on in terms of new services regarding mobility too. Just go through my presentation and then we can. It's also open the Q&A session. Please, if you have any question, write on QA on the chat, and then at the end will be easy to answer to all your additional information. My presentation starts from the previous year. I mean, just to give you an idea about what type of idea of proposal we collect in 2021. Here, just some picture that describe some new mobility idea that we collect from the proposals submitted in 2021. From all the proposal was 10. We select just one, that is this one. The winner was Nicolo Casagrande, that proposed two-floor mobility public transportation system in order to increase the space and also to go in to create space also for COVID emergency. Was in just one of the topic that was related in 2021. Then just to go more in deep about the new challenge and what is the request in 2022 hackathon, I would just describe the challenges that will be in face of your proposal. Data mass in data mobility innovation, electronic and software solution, design for a new way to live the mobility, a 2050 innovative approach for new vehicle. For the first challenge is important from our point of view, try to understand how the data and the big data and with additional artificial intelligence technology can contribute to realize new smart city and increase the awareness of the people regarding mobility and the alternative to private car. What we expect from your idea is to realize something new mobile service, or whatever is need could be realized with data that could be also used as for planning and management, advocacy, user participation, co-creation, performance, evaluation. Some example, but to combine data set can generate value, not only value for the citizens, but also maybe economic value, so business. The second challenge will be related to electronic and software solution for autonomous vehicle. It's something that is ongoing in more than one hackathon, but is a relevant topic that need more and more research in terms of new solution. not only from the electronic software side, but also from the acceptance side. Our goal will be to receive proposal and idea that we will combine the several technology family that we already are using on autonomous driving technology, radar, leader, and camera, and also some different combination of this sensor that will be also easy to implement ADAS function, for example, such as data to control, emergency brake data already implemented in a used car. The third one are related more to design new way for life to live and mobility. Is something that regarding not only outside the design but also inside design. So the customer experience related to new quality material that impact on the environment topic also. So you reshape or mix innovative technology in order to rethink user model after also the pandemic era, for example. The fourth and the last one is more futuristic one. We have to think new mobility in 2050 without any restriction. I mean, no regulation restriction, no engine combustion engine. Is that something open, completely open, in order to try to understand how can be the mobility in the next future. Of course, we want to expect also that the configuration team will be heterogeneous in terms of competencies. Of course, we are seeking for people that are 18 year holders, so more than 18 years. Different nation, from design school, engineering university, web mobile designer, user experience, marketing, data science, because all these items are different components that could be useful to write it down the right proposal. Also think about something, I say, economic part, business model, something like that. Just a flavor, not more in deep. To submit your proposal, you need to complete the template that you can download from our website. The template is composed of several parts, starting from the general part that are regarding the name, the short name, and the challenges you want to face off, and also your personal information as team leader and participants. And in the same document, you can find several 4 boxes that are related to can say main question that you need to answer: the idea and motivation, the scientific technological state of art, innovation process proposal, and expect impact. Just the general information about the template. The template is composed by boxes that are mandatory for each participant to complete. I mean, in this means that each participant needs to have their own information. For us, is important data in order to also collect sort of memory about the ideas, your ideas. Remember to length of the document, max 50 pages, no more, just to be to have a good proposal, good writing, not too much word, but just to go direct to the point and describe your idea. Are important too also the keywords and the summary, in order to have just in a look what your idea and the best solution that you propose. Just to go more in deep about on the template, I will do to give you some insight how to complete and to insert your idea. For the idea motivation behind the proposal, just explain with a short in the introduction the general context, where you start in order to describe your idea. Then the needs and motivation behind the idea. Maybe you collect some needs from your parents or from your friends. So where is your direct link in order to where you can where can find your idea. I let problem addressed and the strategy to solve in order also to be more concrete with your idea. And then first, basically identify technology innovation and how you can implement in the real context. Maybe something completely so far from the real context. So could be a little problem to implement at the end. The second part of the template are more related to technological state of art. Just to understand in this case the basic state of art in terms of technology and technology that you want to implement in your idea. I mean, just to be clarified, it's not a sort of precise technology analysis. It's just a flavor in order to understand if you have a clear knowledge about the technology that you want to use and the implication in terms of development and so far. Also the future development and potential limit. Maybe something that would be interesting, but in the future they are not so interesting because there are maybe problem with electronics or because there are other constraints that are to be considered during your proposed idea cost building. The third one regarding innovation. Of course, there is an innovation idea. I like the originality. I mean, just to make some comparison with other idea that you find and try to figure out which is the difference between your idea and the other one. Identify the element that can better explain how the result solve the problem and address the competitive stage. I mean, just to identify which is the step over that you can add with your idea to solve the problem. Definitely. The last part regarding the expect impacts. That could be impacts on social, that could be impacts in terms of technology, impacts in terms of economic, know-how. Maybe you can be also interested to present a patent, and then could be interesting to understand which is your interest about that, and also potential business results that is not so bad to describe. Also in order to understand maybe if this idea could be in the future a startup or maybe something that could be interesting on the organization team. As you know, we also propose to the team the possibility to have a tutoring activities and support during the idea preparation. The scope is to align the project idea with the hackathon challenges that I described before, to coordinate, support the team during the project idea development, and also this tutoring was along all the last 3 months, last 2 months that are before the deadline that was in the end of May. Is our 30 hours that we can just also nowadays propose to the team. If you are interested, please write your email to the organization in order to figure out how to organize this type of services. It's still open, so if you need, please write down an email to your organization. Here, just the deadline and the timeline that we already presented in our rules and website, and just to share that we are already completed to the red one, so the registration phase and the theme definition tutoring. And just we face the next one will be the idea development and submission of the projects. That will be May 31 of 2022. Then there will be the evaluation, the publication, and the other action that will be more in charge of the organization. All the activity will be completed in July 2022. As you know, we have a technical scientific evaluation committee that will be select the best idea and select the 3 winning idea based on different criteria and relative points. The jury have 1 to 5 points to each criteria that maybe in the next slide, yes. The final evaluation, we also take into account the preferences expressed by popular jury that are your friends or whatever is interested in your proposal that select your as the best one. And finally, the most voted proposal will receive 50 bonus points to the final evaluation. The criteria are also on the rule and the website are regarding innovation and originality level with respect to the service offered in the reference sector, feasibility idea of the business idea, realization possibility and sharing on the market, feasibility on a different market and the means of the intermodularity of the idea. And finally, the popular majority that is always vote for 5 and is a bonus of 50 points. The prize and awards, just to remember that the project will be obtained a minimum of 350 score will be eligible for the following prize. The third place will receive 1,000 euro, 1,000 euros, no, 1,000 euros, yes. The second place, 1,500 euros. And the first classified 5,000 euro as prize in money. In case you are one or more, whatever prize will be not awarded second and third place. I mean, if it is just one proposal, we receive the 5,000 euros. Thank you for your attention. Just to complete my part, and if you have question or whatever is additional information to the now or at the end of this webinar, I will be or the colleague will be interested to answer to your question. I leave the floor to DYDAS project. I guess Giorgio can continue the presentation, sharing your view with sharing the stage with the other colleagues. Please, Giorgio.
Thank you very much, Pasquale. Yes, absolutely. I am Giorgio Scavino. I am a consultant under DYDAS project, a project co-funded by CEF, the Connecting Europe Facility of the European Commission. And first of all, I introduce you the coordinator, the technical coordinator that we have in this webinar. Iulian Coltea is an engineer, so he made the most important development about this innovative platform that is DYDAS. So Iulian, I give you the floor to introduce the work and the opportunity to our colleague, the people attending this hackathon to use the platform in the best way. Thank you, Iulian.
Thank you, Giorgio. Hi, everyone. I'm Iulian Coltea. As Giorgio introduced me as technical project manager of this project. I wanted you to show you the state of art of DYDAS platform, what the platform is able to do, and how the platform can help to achieve the goals in mobility use cases, or in any use cases that are related with data, particularly focused on geographical data. So DYDAS is a platform that enables users to use data, load their own data, or develop models, machine learning models, or statistical models that run on an infrastructure that DYDAS offers. That is meant to achieve new data, new knowledge, new information, and share it with everyone for free, or using the marketplace to monetize data and modeling. So the DYDAS platform is quite simple. It's quite simple. It's a good thing, I hope. You can log in both with the speed or with standard registration. We have a homepage that use some indicators on what the user is working on, or the operation that will be performed. So the homepage is not that important right now. The platform it's organized based on projects. A project it's like putting together data modeling, so especially Python models, and dashboards to present the data that was or elaborated or bought from the marketplace, or obtained as open data. A project, it's, as it says in the title, it's actually a workspace. So we can create a new project, that have to have a name, and unique ID. So I'm just gonna to compile the data just to show you how it works. A project can be of one of these three types: dataset, model, or scenario. A dataset type can only contain datasets, a model both datasets and scripts, and a scenario can contain analysis dashboards. It's usually we use a scenario type to include everything that we can manage on a DYDAS platform. And then some information on regarding the project that characterize the project, like narrow interest, keywords, logo, and so on. Once a project is created, I'm not going to create it because it takes some time, so we are quite short on time in this occasion. A project is then divided between the details of the project, contributors. We can add contributors that can work on this project together, so they can perform any operation that an owner can do, except deleting the project. It's the only exception. We have a dataset section at the beginning. This area is empty. We can add the dataset from our purchased datasets. I will show you later how to purchase the dataset from the marketplace, or from open datasets that were published on the marketplace as open. An open dataset usually have an open license, so they can be used in all projects freely. We can add a new data set if we want to load onto the platform a new data set. We can create an envelope by defining name, logo, description, and some other features that are the typology of the data. If it's a geospatial, it can be a raster vector that defines some technical limitations on what you can do. The style, if it's a raster, we can specify a style now or later is the same, and some information of the data. This is only a description of what the data is referring on from an area point of view, from a volume, etc. In this project, for example, we have some owned data set like this one, or imported data set that are the open data set that I showed you before. The model section includes the scripting. We can create a new model by specifying name and ID as usual. And the scripting is basically a Python script that allows us to treat data, to manage data, or to perform machine learning operations, training operations, or simply to transform and elaborate the data further. I'll just be really brief on this one because that's anything you can do in Python, you can do it here. And if you need to import new libraries, you can do that, or use the libraries that DYDAS already offer. Inside DYDAS, you will find TensorFlow libraries, GDAL libraries, and so on, already uploaded in the system. So you just need to perform an import, and you'll find the library in there. Then when we perform a run, there is in this section you can monitor the running of the model. We can schedule the model for automatic execution using cron tab, or specifying simply a date and then a time when to execute this model. The model always perform operations from a data set to another data set. So the only way to store data is using the DYDAS library to store data into a known data set where you have the right to write data. There is another section that is the file manager that it's used, for example, if you are training a model, the output trained model, machine learning model, artificial intelligence model, you can store it in the file manager. That's actually a file system when you can put any file and use it later for inference, for example. So we can create here folders, files. We can perform it both from the interface and the scripts. Finally, we have the dashboard section that allows us to view the data that is present into the data sets. We can use this drag and drop based editor to add widgets that are configurable. So we can add any widget here. We can perform configuration for this widget, specifying from which data set we are going to read the data. We can set a name for this widget that will be shown into the dashboard. And then based on the widget type, we have some selection to do. For example, for a pie chart, we have to select the column of the data that will be used as a label, and the value attribute, so we're going to select which column contains the values that we'll use, that the system will use for showing it to the pie chart. We can specify an aggregation. For example, if we have multiple labels inside this data set that have different values, we can perform an aggregation like a sum, an average, minimum, maximum, etc. As we ask the system to perform this aggregation so that the labels are unique into the pie chart. This is basically based on each type of chart that we use. We'll have different selections to perform. Radar chart, horizontal chart, etc. have each have its own configuration. Then we have the map visualization. The map visualization of data. Obviously, only geographical data can be shown on map. We can see it on the overlay, as an overlay on some of the base maps that we offer, such as Big Map, Open Topological Map, Open Street Maps. These three are the base maps that we use. So you can show data on map. You can interrogate the data that was loaded on the map. This is quite a really big data set that it's a little slow to load, but if we disable it, we have some easier data to interact with. I loaded some as an example. These are the GSE solar panels. For example, we have here the information of the data that is viewable on the map. You can disable layers, add, and so on. The configuration of the map is as before. We can add many data sets, and we can establish the order of the data set that we want to show. There are some neat functions with some of the dataset type, such as vector data can be shown as an heat map. It's not this one. We can see data as a heat map as a visualization type. So we show here. It shows the concentrations of the solar panels that are distributed on the Italian territory, and so on. I'm not gonna go too much into details. I invite everyone to test this platform because it's an early release, so there are still some things to complete, but you can explore, you can try to build some models, you can try to see the data, to navigate the data, and bring some new ideas on what the platform could add or what the platform could offer as a functionality for the future. Finally, there is a section for the visualization of the project. We entered before into the editing part of the project. The same operations for the visualizations can be performed in this section. So we find the same thing as before. This is actually another project that has already built a dashboard that shows some analysis that we are performing on people tracking in defined areas as to monitor the behavior of people in this case in a mobility area and a service in a service station on the highway. Finally, the marketplace part that I introduced you at the beginning is actually it's an e-market for projects. We talk about projects because, as I was saying at the beginning, everything is organized into projects. A project can contain only data sets or can contain models and dashboards, and can be big or small. It's really based on the user needs. So on the marketplace, we find already some of the projects that were created and published. Projects once created can be published if they attain some restrictions based on simply if you have a project or a model type project and you don't have a model, it won't let you publish, but this is some technical limitations. And it's really simple to understand once you try it. The projects that are published are part of the DYDAS project activities. We developed 3 use cases: one based on an energy use case, one maritime, and one in a mobility environment. On the mobility, I'll spend 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes if Matteo lets me. That is the speaker that will present after me. On the mobility use case, we performed some analysis by developing edge computing devices that are installed inside the vehicles that can perform data gathering using computer vision algorithms that, for example, recognizes the potholes, the road surface, and signals and gather data on how many potholes are and where on the territory. By just installing into the car, everything it's elaborated into the device. That it's an edge computing device, so everything that it's captured by the video sensor, it's elaborated into the device, then transferred into the platform as a result, but only by transferring only the information needed. So it's the GPS position, the time frame where the video sensor captured a pothole, for example, and what type of pothole was identified. We have some grades of dimension of the pothole. This is one of one part of the use case. Another one, it's the one that I was showing you before, and regards the monitoring of people into critical areas. Their behavior, and we are monitoring using edge computing devices that not record videos but only sends information that was captured and understood by the machine learning algorithms, and send back to the platform only the thing that we meant to recognize from that video capture. So the mobility use case was meant to be a wide project, general purpose one. So it was able to demonstrate how many things you can do using edge computing, computer vision algorithms, and a platform to gather data and further analyze it to deduce some other information. Like, for example, I was showing you before the timeframes of people agglomerations into the area, which zones, which point of interest was more or less frequented during those hours, and so on. The rest of the marketplace is quite simple, quite intuitive. Once you publish, you can define a price. For now, everything is free. As you can see, and you can order a project that when you complete an order, the project will simply be available for you into the project sections. As a mobility, now there is energy. and you can navigate the project, interact with the project, obviously only in view. You cannot edit an acquired project. So that's it for me. I leave the stage to Matteo. Thank you very much. If you have any question, I don't know if there are already some questions. No, you can leave it in the chat or send them later. We will always we are happy to respond and to receive feedbacks on this platform that will be released fully at the end of the year. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Iulian, for this nice presentation. Now I'm going to share my screen in order to show you some additional concepts which are related to the exploitation of the data on the DYDAS platform. One of the main goals of the DYDAS platform is to make more easy the data exploitation with a particular reference to the open data in the European framework of data and infrastructure. And to allow this goal, the DYDAS system is based on a specific dedicated component which is called geospatial data architecture. And this component is based on a geospatial data model, which is a set of rules for representing spatially the information that can be treated as in two particular data types, such as raster and vector formats. And then we have the interoperability rules, which are the set of rules that are implemented for making the data set interoperable one to each other. And both these components are included in the dedicated geospatial data architecture infrastructure of the data systems, which is used for uploading the data sets onto the systems, as Iulian has shown us. And basically, by exploiting this component, you can include in the systems, so make it ready to be analyzed, several types of geospatial data information such as cadastral data, aerial satellite imagery, land cover, different type of information about the cities, for instance, but also the results of information retrieval from satellite data or from meteorological data. And all of these information are useful for the implementation of several use cases, as the ones which were recognized by Iulian. Here you have the several supported data formats that you can integrate into the DYDAS platform. This means that you may produce outside the systems your information in one of these data formats, and then you can easily integrate this information into the systems by exploiting the functionalities, the high-level functionalities provided by the geospatial data architecture. Otherwise, you can also retrieve the open geospatial information from several repositories outside the systems. Here, for instance, you have the example of the Italian National Geoportal, which is provided by the Italian Ministry for the Ecological Transition. Or, for instance, also local entities geospatial data portal, such as, for instance, the geospatial data portal from the Lombardy region, or from the Lazio region, or again from the Puglia region. So basically in Italy, but also at European scale, you may have several of these data access point where you can search for the information of your interest, which is released as a raster or vector format. You can simply download it and porting it on the data systems by exploiting the functionality of the DYDAS geospatial data architecture interface. Another portal that you may have, for which you may have an interest, is the main access point for the satellite data of the European Copernicus program for the observation of the Earth. Here you can find all the data sets as provided by the satellite mission of the European Copernicus program for the observation of the Earth. And basically you may retrieve this information and use it in order to develop your algorithm for the production of high-level information by also combining several kinds of data. So one of the goals of the data infrastructure is to allow you to integrate several data formats in a very easy and straightforward way, also for developing your application, which can be based, as Iulian reported, for instance, on the artificial intelligence. And here I will show you very brief example of application satellite data and artificial intelligence in the framework of high-performance computing. You may have the land cover information as retrieved from the satellite data. The example of this satellite data, you can download it from the Copernicus portals, for instance. And basically the land cover information can provide you the information related to the different classes of land cover over a specific territory. Here, for instance, we have a snapshot from the northeast part of Rome. And here you have several classes that can be related, for instance, to the buildings, the type of buildings, or residential or industrial, the different kinds of road, such as the Rhineway or other roads. Also, you can have green areas in terms of vegetation, different kinds, and so on. And the problem with this type of maps is that the official data sets are not updated so frequently. So you may have the necessity to update the information based on new satellite acquisition during time. Here, for instance, we have a map, a base map derived from Google, on which you can see that a specific part of the image related to the classification is not updated. So there are new buildings that was built up, and this area is not recognized correctly on the satellite land cover maps. So in this case, you can apply artificial intelligence algorithm in the framework of the data systems in order to train a model for updating this kind of map and providing the updated information of the land cover, as in this case. So we have new map after the processing, for which the part of the previous result, which was not correctly classified, is now updated. And this is just an example of one application that you can easily implement on the DYDAS platform by exploiting both the capability to interoperate different kinds of data, such as the previous geospatial map and new satellite data, and also to implement your own algorithm by exploiting Python, the Python programming language, and specific libraries such as TensorFlow. So this was my last slide, and of course I'm also open to receive your answer, if any. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Matteo. So I share my screen to introduce you the last presentation for today's webinar. It is focused on policies in some European regions. In particular, yes, I am a consultant under DYDAS project, and I am honored also to represent here ANCI LAZIO, that is the association made up of 378 municipalities in Lazio region in Italy. And one of the main mission is to study and promote research strategies, initiatives in favor of the economic and social development of local communities. In addition to being technical partners of ANFIA Next Mobility Hackathon through the DYDAS European project, already illustrated by Iulian and Matteo, ANCI LAZIO is coordinating this RegioMob European project for regional sustainable mobility as a part of Interreg Europe, interregional cooperation program. This project is the acronym of interregional learning towards sustainable mobility in Europe, the RegioMob experience. We received substantially a recognition by the Interreg Europe program as the best managed project under the axis of the low carbon economy, in particular in the object relating to the improving low carbon economy policies. We have received the European Commission an additional fund dedicated to an additional activity in order to support those responsible for the European regional policies to identify solutions following the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. So the RegioMob is made up of 6 partners, including 1 region of Western Macedonia, 3 regional transport agencies, 1 in UK based in Edinburgh, 1 in Ljubljana, Slovenia, and the Southwest Agency for Regional Development in Romania, the city of Neapolice in Poland, and the Association of Municipality in Lazio in Italy. The entire partnerships aims to share information and exchange experiences in order to design and implement mobility plans, so to improve mobility plans to support also regional stakeholders. Each of us, therefore, seeks to influence and improve specific regional policy. We do not go into this aspect now because we have to move on the best practices. If in your working group or in your future team, you are asking yourself or in group one of these questions, so probably RegioMob good practices can provide you some useful inputs. We based on 4 pillars: regional public transport system, sharing mobility, temporary infrastructure for cycling, in particular mobility, and demand-on-demand transport responsive systems. In this link, I provide you immediately in the chat. You can see, you can download the publication with an extract of the main voted best practices, but in more or less 1 week you will receive the complete version made by 20 good practices collected in these 6 European regions. The first good practices, obviously, these good practices was voted from the perspective and the needs of our regions. So the first comes from the municipality of Trikala in Greece, and the name, the title is Smart Demand Responsive Transport App for Public Transport and Taxis, SMART project. It is an on-demand service that send the citizens receive a request for so there is a connection between citizen and the local transport system, and it is possible to receive a request for a set in the bus. These requests are collected for urban local transport of Trikala in order to know in advance the real needs for specific routes for a more practical planning of routes. The city of Trikala also has a long and successfully history in implementing sustainable and novelty solution. So this is important to you in order to be aware also to the existence of a mobility community that already exists and is positive in promoting new ideas like this, Smarta. The next one is made in Italy, in Rome in particular, and this practice is related to an extraordinary plan which allow in the city of Rome the creation of about 150 kilometers of traditional cycle paths, and precisely in Rome we have these 5 types of new temporary cycle paths. Was designed by the municipality at the time of the pandemic emergency, with the aim of promoting circulation of the bicycle, also to prevent congestion in the circulation of the private car. The next one is from Ljubljana in Slovenia. The local public company he was tasked to providing safe, reliable, and smooth public transport throughout the entire city of Ljubljana and 16 suburban municipalities. However, ensuring safe passenger transport during the COVID pandemic was a big challenge. Thanks to the increasing in the number of buses in circulation, people had felt safer using public transport in Ljubljana. People therefore had the opportunity to travel while maintaining critical physical distance. So the use of public transport has also increased in that period. An extra information, very briefly, it is related these 20 good practices or best practices, if you see in green the three I presented, but also I would like to mention the Smart Cube, for example, a solution, a device that allows the activation of a vehicle sanitization cycle, even remotely, at the end of each use. We talk about the sharing vehicles without the need for manual intervention, and guarantees the purification of the atmosphere and the conditional air system. This is another, for example, it is a recreational bus lines in Krakow. They created to encourage people to go out of the city and discover the district of Krakow with the green area, with the forest. They create a new line to improve the mental state of the citizens. This is a very interesting good practice. And the last one, in the case of Nepolomise, for example, a solution was developed for the collective and the safe transport for the workers during the pandemic. And this effort with improve the collective service in the industrial zone of the city. So are some example from our side. So I thank you very much for your attention, and I leave the floor to Emanuela Pregnolato, that is the manager of ANFIA, and I thanks a lot to Emanuela for hosting all of us.
Thank you, Giorgio. Thank you very much for your presentation. Thank you very much to all the speakers that for the presentation that they have made, and I thank you also the attendees for being here tonight. I can say you if you have a specific question about the ANFIA Next Mobility Hackathon, you can visit the website www.nextmobilityhackathon.com, or you can write to the email hackathon@anfia.it. For the specific question about the DYDAS project, the country, you can write to info@dydas.eu. Is correct, Giorgio?
It's perfect.
Okay. Okay, we can close this webinar, and I hope that we will have more participants for our events, and I thank you for the participation. Have a good night for the foreign participant, and buona serata a tutti for the Italian participant.
Thank you very much. Have a nice time. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.